The purpose of this module is to provide general recommendations, information, instructions and guidelines about the various safety aspects of an electric 80 laser-guided vehicle, LGV. This module is not all-inclusive. Please refer to the machinery supply documentation for further instructions regarding safety, operation or service of the machinery. Failure to show safety precautions, instructions and any inappropriate use of the LGV may not only damage the LGV and other machinery in the system, but may also cause serious injury or even death of the operator or other personnel in the workplace. An electric 80 LGV is an automated unmanned vehicle that performs material handling tasks in the workplace and is powered by an onboard battery. The LGV is designed to physically move pallets or unit loads to different destinations within the working area in automatic mode. The LGV acts as a link between the different machines, systems and working areas within the workplace. An LGV system can contain several LGVs, as well as various LGV types, which all function in the same working area. The LGV contains many different systems to ensure reliability and efficiency: programmed guide path, battery system, safety system, optical guidance system, material handling system, supervisor system. To execute the automatic load and unload operations, the LGV travels within the working area following programmed guide paths, stopping in predetermined points and obeying automatic traffic and right-of-way rules determined by the supervising system. In order to navigate along the programmed guide path, the LGV uses an optical guidance system based on a laser device installed on the LGV, as well as object detection devices, which are used to detect people and property along the LGV's guide path. LGVs are powered by an onboard battery. Battery charging operations can be performed in automatic or manual, depending on the machinery and system features. Battery charging takes place at battery stations monitored by the supervising system. A LGV with a charged battery is granted several hours of operation. The battery's duration depends on the operations performed and the battery's features. In presence of the automatic battery change, when the supervision system detects an onboard battery at warning level that needs to be recharged, it automatically generates a battery change mission. This LGV will then be sent to the battery change area to change the battery. This operation will be done as soon as the LGV has completed the mission in progress and only when it meets all the conditions requested by the system. The discharged battery will then begin its charging cycle and the LGV will be able to continue working in the system thanks to the new charged battery. After the LGV has a charged battery on board, the LGV restarts its operational functions. This operation generally takes a few minutes, while the full recharge of the battery can take several hours. With opportunity charging, the battery on board is never replaced, just recharged. The recharge is done via the two side contacts of the LGV, or in case of induction charger, via two plain coils. There are also some sensors for the correct positioning of the LGV near the charger. When the supervision system detects a battery that has reached the low level and needs to be recharged, it automatically generates a battery charging mission. The LGV will then be sent to a charger. This operation will take place as soon as the LGV has completed the missions in progress, and in any case, only when all the conditions of the system are met. After being correctly positioned next to the charger and having communicated with it, the battery charging phase will start. Generally, this takes only a few minutes. At the end, the vehicle will leave the charger and start back executing system operations. The LGV is equipped with emergency stop devices, warning devices, object detection devices, and may be equipped with additional protection features. The machinery is equipped with emergency stop devices to immediately stop the LGV, such as emergency stop buttons, emergency rope pull switches. Audible and visual warning devices are used to warn personnel of the LGV's behavior, such as machinery status, machinery motion, hazardous operations. Object detection devices are used to detect people and property along the LGV's guide path. The LGV may be equipped with additional protection features. Please refer to the machinery supplied documentation for details. The LGV is normally equipped with a hydraulic mast and may be equipped with other material handling systems such as forks, clamps, roller conveyors, other conveyor systems and loading systems. The LGV may be equipped with other mobile equipment such as telescopic sensors, other mobile systems. LGVs use an optical guidance system based on a laser device installed on the LGV. The system uses a series of reflectors placed at known positions throughout the facility to track its position. The laser rotates and emits a series of laser beams in all directions. The laser beams that hit the reflectors are reflected back to the laser and used by the system to calculate the LGV's actual position. The LGV's travel direction and precise position depends on the number of surrounding reflectors and on the reflecting quality. All LGVs are controlled by a supervising system which manages the LGV operations, transport missions, material and product load and unload missions, battery substitution and charging missions, LGV traffic and right-of-way rules. The supervising system and LGV are connected and communicate using a wireless network. In case of communication loss between the LGV and the supervising system, the LGV will stop all operations. Automatic operation can start again only after wireless communication has been restored. Operators can interact with the supervising system through an operator interface. Only trained personnel shall be allowed to access the LGV system. Only qualified personnel should perform work on the LGV or in the LGV's working area. Qualified personnel have the proper knowledge, training and experience with the LGV system. A verifiable safety training program for new employees, visitors and contractors is required. Ongoing training and annual refresher training programs for the benefit of existing personnel is also required. The equipment may become hazardous if maintenance is neglected. Therefore, maintenance facilities, trained personnel and procedures are required. Inspect the LGVs daily. Implement routine maintenance program. Stop any machine that has a defect or failure. Do not use damaged LGVs. Quickly repair damages. Personnel who perform maintenance or repairs on a LGV or on a LGV system must be trained on the procedures necessary to safely perform the required tasks. Warning: the machinery may become hazardous if maintenance is neglected. Therefore, maintenance facilities, trained personnel and procedures are required. To increase safety and awareness, the LGV system can be identified by adequate warnings and markings in the workplace. Please pay attention to those warnings and markings whenever present. You can find warnings or markings near entrances to the LGV system, operating restricted and hazardous areas, personnel walkways, doorways and intersections. Areas may be marked with warning signs, floor markings, stripes, guards, traffic lights, and other visual and audible devices. For example, hazardous areas can be marked in red, or a forbidden access sign can be used. Safe zones and personnel walkways can be marked in green. Arrows painted on the floor can indicate the main direction of travel of the LGV vehicles. Always obey the identifications and markings in the LGV area. The machinery is equipped with emergency stop devices. Such as emergency stop buttons, emergency rope pull switches. In emergency conditions, use an emergency stop device to immediately stop the LGV. The emergency stop can be used in all operation modes, at any moment, and is intended to immediately stop the LGV, all of its actuators, all functions, and all movements. The emergency stop must be activated manually. Once engaged, the emergency stop will remain engaged until it's manually reset. Once has been reset, the LGV will remain stopped until is restarted by an operator. For details on additional stop devices, please refer to the equipment's supplied documentation. Danger. To eliminate the risks caused by unexpected motions of the LGV, an emergency stop must always be used when working on a stopped LGV or when performing work in the guide path of a stopped LGV. The LGV's object detection devices are designed and mounted to prevent contact with objects appearing in the LGV guide path in the main direction of travel, such as people, equipment, product, litter. Object detection devices are not the same as the LGV's optical guidance device, which is only used for tracking the LGV's position. Object detection devices are programmed with a specific set of monitoring areas based on LGV speed, workplace conditions, and machinery conditions. In the figure, you can see the monitoring areas of the object detection devices, colored yellow and red for training purposes only. In the video, you can see the monitoring areas of the object detection devices, colored yellow and red for training purposes only. The object detection devices are designed and installed to monitor a flat area, parallel to the floor and not higher than 200 millimeters from the floor. It is important to reiterate that the devices monitor a flat surface, not a three-dimensional area. As a consequence, the detection devices can only detect objects placed at the same height. Objects that lie below or above the monitoring area, or even objects that protrude towards the LGV, cannot be detected and do not stop the LGV. Danger. Even if the LGV emergency system is operating properly and as expected, it may not work if an object suddenly appears along the LGV path and/or it's already within the set stop distance, such as an object falling from above or a person breaking into the path of an LGV at the last moment. The monitoring area shape and dimensions changes during operation to allow for different speeds, workplace conditions and machinery conditions. The monitoring area is divided into two areas, a yellow warning area and a red protective area. When an object enters the warning area, the speed of the LGV will be reduced, and the LGV does not stop automatic operations. When an object enters the protective area, the LGV will perform an emergency stop, and all automatic movements are stopped. When an object is removed or leaves the protection area, the LGV will automatically reset without an operator intervention. The LGV will restart automatic operations after a minimum delay of 2 seconds. The automatic reset function can be disabled in restricted and hazardous areas. Warning: the LGV's stopping distance can vary based on speed, conditions, and other factors. In order to allow the LGV to operate near conveyors, load and unload positions, racks, fixed object or structure, and in general any restricted or hazardous area, it is necessary to reduce or fully disable the LGV's object detection capabilities in order to finish the operations. In these cases, the LGV may reduce its speed, activate audible and/or visual warnings to alert personnel of a hazard. Danger: the LGV will have reduced or disabled object detection capabilities during automatic mode in areas such as areas with less than 0.5 meters, 19.7 inches of clearance between obstructions and the LGV, including loads, all load and unload positions, other locations with reduced clearances within the working area. As a result, the LGV may not stop prior to contact with an object and serious hazards exist. Access must be limited to personnel trained on the hazards. The area must be identified by as a restricted or hazardous area. The LGV can work in automatic mode and manual mode. In automatic mode, the LGV performs operations in automatic. Orders are received from the supervising system. Operator intervention is not required. All emergency stop devices are enabled. All object detection devices are enabled. manual mode, the LGV's movements are activated by the operator from the LGV's mobile panel only. The LGV ignores the orders sent from the supervising system. All emergency stop devices are enabled. All object detection devices are limited. All object detection devices and bumpers can be fully disabled by the operator from the operator panel. Warning: while the LGV is in manual mode, the operator is completely responsible for the operation of the LGV. Safeguards must be used to prevent other LGVs from entering the working area. When working on the LGV or in the LGV system, always secure the perimeter of the LGV, working area and hazardous area by placing safeguards on the floor. Examples of safeguards are barricades, cones. Safeguards must have a height of at least 300 millimeters, 12 inches, and a diameter of at least 75 millimeters, 3 inches. The position of the safeguards must be determined by qualified personnel who have the proper knowledge, training, and experience. Always use an emergency stop device if it is necessary to work on or near the LGV. Caution: always verify that the working area has been safeguarded from LGVs prior to performing any work. Use a qualified person to help stop approaching LGVs and monitor LGV traffic in the area. If it is necessary to enter in the LGV system, always obey the identifications and markings in the LGV area. Visitors must always be accompanied by qualified personnel. Always use safeguards, such as barricades or cones, to stop the LGV. Always give the right of way to the LGVs. Do not walk or stop in the path of the LGV. Do not enter load or unload positions. Do not perform work or operations in the LGV area without specific training. Do not interfere with LGV operations. Warning: LGVs can restart operations without warning. Only trained personnel can work in the LGV area. If it is necessary to work in the LGV area, the following must be considered. Always use safeguards, such as barricades or cones, to stop the LGV. The position of the safeguard must be on the floor in the LGV's guide path. Always consider the LGV's direction of travel in your working area. Always identify the area with danger and LGV movement. Always ensure that the safeguards used are adequate to the existing risk. Use additional safeguards to block the surrounding area. Once the LGV is stopped, push an emergency stop on the LGV. Do not stand in the guide path of the LGV to stop it. Use a qualified person to help stop approaching LGVs and monitor LGV traffic in the area. Only in emergency conditions, while the LGV is traveling, use an emergency stop device to immediately stop the LGV. Otherwise, you will uselessly stress the gearboxes. The status of the LGV can be understood from the acoustic and luminous signals. Always pay close attention to a stopped vehicle. It could restart by itself in automatic without warning. When approaching a stopped vehicle, always be aware of the surroundings. Check the status of the vehicle and the load on board. Always pay close attention to LGV movements. Give the LGV the right of way and avoid walking in hazardous areas. Manned equipment, manual forklifts, carts, pallet jacks, aerial lifts, etc. inside all areas of an LGV system should be avoided. Any sharing of the guide path between LGVs and manned equipment must be restricted and when necessary guided by procedures. Use safeguards to stop approaching LGV and eventually use a second qualified person to help and monitor LGV traffic in the area. During unplanned or extraordinary works, please inform all the personnel involved and if needed, provide them a basic safety training. Warning: always verify that the working area has been safeguarded from LGVs prior to performing any work. The use of an LGV system is subject to certain risks and hazards that cannot be completely eliminated by mechanical means, but the risks can be minimized by the exercise of intelligence, care and common sense. It is therefore essential to have competent and careful personnel, physically and mentally fit and thoroughly trained in the safe operation of the LGV and the handling of the loads. A LGV system can contain various risks and hazards, such as collision with objects or people, obstruction to the free passage of the load, instability of the load, overloading, poor maintenance, use of machinery for a purpose for which it was not intended or designed. The main risks and hazards present are collision with objects or people on and/or adjacent to the LGV guide path. The risk is greater when the LGV areas are not identified or clearly marked. Crushing hazards exist with the LGV and the LGV's mobile equipment, such as forks, clamps, roller conveyors, other loading systems. Crushing hazards exist at load and unload positions, near conveyors, roller tables, unit loads, racks, machinery, fixed structures, and in general in any restricted or hazardous area. Crushing hazards exist while the LGV is loading and unloading the pallet. Danger: do not walk under or stand under an elevated load on the LGV or in a storage position. Entrapment hazards exist at load and unload positions, near any closed structure or confined space. Danger: storage areas, racks, trailers, and in general any closed structure or confined space must be considered a hazardous area. Always implement safeguards prior to entering these areas. The LGV guide paths must be clean and the surface must be maintained in good conditions. The guide path must be kept free of holes, cracks, oil, puddles, dust, other residues or debris. Inspect the guide path daily. Remove all liquids and debris and repair all damages. Warning: the LGV stopping distance and stopping time on wet or dirt floor may become longer. Load and unload positions must be considered restricted or hazardous areas. A load and/or unload position is any position where the LGV loads or unloads pallets or unit loads in automatic mode. The LGV may not always detect product in an incorrect position if the product is misplaced. Do not interfere with the operations at load and unload positions, on the floor, at a conveyor, at a rack, any other position where the LGV loads or unloads. Danger: do not put yourself in between the LGV and load-unload position. Danger: do not walk between the LGV and load when the LGV is approaching load and unload positions. Exchange positions must be considered restricted or hazardous areas. An exchange position is a load and/or unload position where the LGV loads product that has been positioned manually. The LGV places product to be picked up manually by an operator. The LGV may not always detect if the product is misplaced in the exchange position. Warning: the product can be pushed or bumped by LGV if the position is incorrect. Pallets or unit loads can become unstable due to sudden movements, accelerations, stops, long periods of storage, use of machinery for a purpose for which it was not intended or designed. Only personnel trained on load stability hazards may work near or enter storage areas or areas with stacked pallets. Always be aware of the hazards from above. Always take precautions in the area above and overhead, especially when near racks, high structures, stacked pallets, or when the LGV has the load elevated. Note: the risk is greater with an elevated load. For efficient and safe battery operations, periodically clean the battery and the charger to prevent dust and other material deposits. Provide adequate ventilation in the battery charging area to prevent dangerous accumulation of fumes. Implement an inspection and routine battery maintenance program. The battery charge system must be considered a hazardous area. Danger of electric discharges. Risk of explosion. Danger explosive atmosphere and acid leakage. Risk of crush. Danger: do not interfere with automatic movements of the battery charge system. Danger: do not touch the battery's electrical contacts, both on board the LGV and at the charging station. For efficient and safe battery operations, periodically clean the LGV and the charger contacts to prevent dust, copper oxidation and other material deposits. Provide adequate ventilation to the lithium battery. Keep clean the battery compartment. Control the fan filter on the LGV cabinet and on the lithium battery. Implement a routine battery maintenance program. Danger of electric discharges. Risk of explosion. Danger: explosive atmosphere and acid leakage. Risk of crush. Danger: do not interfere with automatic movements of the battery charge system. The battery charge system must be considered a hazardous area. efficient and safe battery charging operations. In the case of an induction charger, it is important to avoid the presence of metal between the charger plate and the LGV plate. Keep the fan filter clean to prevent overheating. Danger: do not interfere with the automatic movements of the battery charging system. The battery charging system must be considered a hazardous area. Danger: pay attention to the electromagnetic field. If you have a pacemaker or any other vital aid, please stay away during the recharge cycle. Danger of electric discharges. Danger: high-intensity magnetic fields. Danger: hot surfaces. The LGV must always see the reflectors present in the working area. Do not cover the reflectors with other objects, materials or pallets in the working area. Do not move reflectors to other positions. Do not remove the reflectors from their original position. Do not add new reflectors in other positions. Do not damage the reflectors. Periodically clean reflectors. The LGV is equipped with laser scanner devices that emit laser beams. Danger: do not stare into the laser beam. Always be aware of LGV traffic, LGV movements and approaching LGVs. Visitors must always be accompanied by qualified personnel. Always obey the identifications and markings in the LGV area. Always use safeguards positioned on the floor. Additional precautions are required if it is necessary to perform work or operations in the LGV area. Always use an emergency stop device when it is necessary to operate on or near a stopped LGV. Implement an inspection and routine maintenance program. Refer to the user manual for any questions or clarification.